He says the N-word in The Jerk. But it works, though. It makes sense within the story, but like he says it.
That's Steve Martin?
Is it? Steve Martin.
Now I have to watch that.
He starts out as a poor black man.
Oh, God. I don't know how you can say that this makes sense.
You can see The Jerk. It makes sense.
But it makes sense. I'm like,
because Steve Martin is a comic genius.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It works. Hello, my name is Lee H. Tillman.
I'm Andrea Menchaca.
And this is Anxiety Twins. This is a podcast where two married comedians talk about random things that go on in our lives. And today, you had something big happen. You just came from being interviewed on the television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was up at 6 a.m. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Before you even.
Yeah, that's surprising.
I'm still wearing my television outfit.
So if you watch her and be like, does she always wear that?
Yes.
You're wearing that all the time? I just saw you on TV. You're still wearing it.
Also, we're in my room today.
Yeah, we're doing
my room / office with all my things in it. My Speaking American notes.
All her notes from all your shows. This is going to be like Mike Birbiglia's Working It Out. We're going to go through all her shows.
Well, I just ordered this thing, which is like a magnetic thing that's glued to the wall. Mm-hmm. But before I got that, I just had Post-its all on the wall, and I looked like a crazy person lived here. And they were on the floor because I sleep on the floor, so they were like close to the floor. It just looked like I just get up at 3 a.m. and I'm scribble, paste it to the wall, count the days. Like I'm locked in here. So this this looks a little bit better. Like it's not that crazy.
Very nice. So how was the interview?
It was very conversational. I think it went well. It was weird to see the cameras don't have people. I think that was the weirdest thing to me. Like the cameras.
It's a robot? It's a robot?
They move themselves.
Huh.
And they don't move a lot. Like the camera will move from like looking at this to like looking over here. Like it's not a huge difference. But there isn't a person behind the camera anymore. And I assumed they were somewhere in a room that I couldn't see them.
Or maybe it's just AI just controlling it now. Maybe they took over another job.
I mean, I'm sure there's at least one person in charge of all the things in production. But in the studio, there was only one lady that was doing the weather, and then across from her there was a different guy who, as far as I could tell, was also doing the weather. But I think it was 2 channels. I think
dueling weather. It's Republican weather.
Yeah.
Democrat weather.
She's like, it's really not going well.
Everything is separated.
Global warming is upon us. And the guy was like, "Happy spring, everybody! How's your St. Patrick's Day?" But I think it is 2 different programs or 3 different programs, but they share a studio, so the cameras just kind of like move around. Because the guy that let me in was like, "I'm actually working on a different program," and I was like, I don't see. I mean, there could be a different studio I didn't know about, but so they let me into the studio like 10 minutes before it was my turn. So that was like a good call on their part, because I really just needed to like be in that room for a little bit and be like, this is odd, and then I was able to talk. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
I should have sent you the link.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
We'll just play a clip after this. You're wearing the same thing.
Anything else about that?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully I sold it enough. I do. The whole point of it was that I need Milagro Theater to be sold from a special, like sold out, so that it feels like a full room.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the recording wouldn't come through that nicely if it's like not enough laughter.
Have you looked and seen like ticket sales?
I had to ask. They said that they sold 40 so far, which is not bad. I think that's about half.
How many does it holds? About 80?
It seats 120, but we're also adding 2 rows in the front that are closer to me because Randall, the videographer, shout out to Randall, who knows everything about how it's gonna. He's shot a lot of comedy things. Said that it would be nice. Also, he's blocking a few seats in the middle for his cameras, and then he was saying, like, if you put 2 more rows in the front closer to you, the backs of their heads would be in the video, so it looks more like you can tell there's people there, even though you can hear them. Let's also at least see some. So 123 minus 5 plus 28. That's how many people. What time will the train get there?
I don't know. You lost me.
I don't know anymore. So I don't know.
I'm famously bad at math.
Yeah, famously. 150 maybe you can fit now that we have extra seats. But it's 40 sold out so far, and it's Wednesday, so I'm hoping like a lot of last minute people come. Maybe a lot of people saw me in the news and they were like, she seems cool. One thing I should have said in the news, which I didn't say, was the price of the tickets, because they're only $5. I feel like that might get people interested, but I forgot. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that would keep people away. Like, I don't think people would be like, oh, they're probably $50. I'm not going to buy them. I think they're.
Yeah,
it's. I don't think
it's not a big deal, but I should have said.
Be all right.
And then now, I literally just an hour ago turned on the TV to the. I just got an antenna and connected the TV to like the regular free channels, just because I was like, we don't watch the local news. I don't know where that is.
I mean, that's why I haven't seen it.
I mean, they have a link. It all goes on their website immediately as well. But we can talk about that. I got a new TV. Okay. There's this new movement on social media to get off social media. It's really interesting. All of the millennials, especially like analog, is really in right now with Gen Z and millennial moms, I feel like. So there's like all my feed is just people being like, my kid only has access to VHS, or like, we are discovering cassettes again after like it's worked. They were roping me in. Also, like when we moved, we left our TV over there, and I was looking into like what other TV to get, but I also didn't want to fall into all of the new TVs are smart TVs, and I don't want to. Like, the prices of the TV is not even the TV, the hardware is like, they're cheaper now because they know that you're trapped into like all of the apps that you have to have. Yeah. And the memberships to be able to, otherwise it's just a flat screen trash. Like, this doesn't have a purpose. So I was looking for one that has like all the other capabilities to connect the DVD player, and like you can also make it smart if you get the
You're looking Roku. For a TV equivalent of a flip phone.
Yes, and I'm also looking for a flip phone, which we can talk about later. So I was looking, I went to Best Buy, and the guy told me, no, every single TV here is smart. But he said, you should check Walmart, which is like next door. So I was like, okay. I went down to Walmart, and the guy that worked there told me the exact same thing. I told you the guy that works at Walmart was like acting like he worked at Best Buy, but I was like, there's no one here.
Maybe he applied at Best Buy and didn't get in.
Yeah,
and,
and they were like, try Walmart. They always
like,
tell people
he tried to get into the Ivy Leagues. And
Best Buy just hates Walmart. They're like, just go look over there. Just get out of my way.
You got to go to a state school.
Gotta go to a state school. Well, he looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, no, none of our TV, like we may be Walmart, but we're up to snuff with the latest. And then I looked on Facebook Marketplace, and I was going to buy a TV from 2 different people, and one of them sold before I was able to get it. And then the other person was like, oh, actually, I just plugged it in and it doesn't work because I hadn't like plugged it into a while. And I was like, okay. So then after I went to Best Buy and I went to Walmart the same day, which was a lot of things for me, I went to Goodwill. And you know how, you don't know because you don't go to Goodwill because it's too bougie.
And on the corner of Goodwill, you just found the TV on the street.
Yes.
That's what I'm assuming.
Oh my God.
Is the next part of the story.
I hadn't told you that.
It was just there on the street.
I hijacked the person who was about to donate. I was like, give it to me. No, like Goodwill has these things, the strip of plugs so that you can try the electronics. And at first I was very like dainty, like, let me just see if this TV, like, I mean, let's just try. Wouldn't it be crazy if it worked? And then it occurred to me, how am I supposed to know if it, like, sure, it turns on. It says on, no device, no connection or whatever, like it says something. So then I plugged the TV to DVD player that they had there. And then I went down to the DVD section and I borrowed a TV. I mean, a DVD. And so
as one does.
So this is like, I just woke up, I jumped out of bed, I look insane, and then I'm at Goodwill, just like plugging things and pushing buttons, and then like there's a cable individually sold in a bag, and I just opened it and I used it to plug it all together because the TV and the DVD player didn't have the HDMI cable, so you had to buy that separately. But I also had to try it. So I'm just like crouching, connecting things. I look all crazy. And then an old Japanese man comes by and he's like, "You gonna buy that?" And I was like, "I think so." And he's like, "Nice." I was like, "Thank you." I haven't bought it yet. He was just really impressed with my ability to plug things in.
Yeah.
So then I left Goodwill with a DVD player, a TV, and a bunch of DVDs. And now my plan is to show Isabel, take her, a little 8-year-old, in case for people who are new here, take her to, I don't know, wherever they sell DVDs and let her pick out DVDs. And I think that would be fun for her because she never uses real media. So,
but she doesn't like picking out things. She takes a very long time to pick things out.
Well, if we ever have like a full 6 hours, like a full 6-hour window, just be like, what do we do today? Oh, I know. And there's like, Portland is about the analog life. So there's a bunch of places that have like old video games and old DVDs and stuff. And then whenever her friends come over for a sleepover, they're like, let's watch Little Shop of Horrors. Let's watch Grease. And I'm like, why are all of these movies like
because their parents are just like you.
Their parents are just like me.
They just show them old stuff. You want to talk about your special? It's Saturday. You feeling? How you feeling? Feeling good about it?
I like to talk about my feelings, Lee.
Well, what? How? Give me a statement, then.
I'm stressed. I told you yesterday. We did mics yesterday. Well, we did a mic. I did two. You did one. Because I really need to focus and remember everything that I've written in the past 5 years. My brain's like, what about we write new stuff? Wouldn't that be fun if we like start doing new things and just like forget all the old stuff? And I'm like, not yet. It's 3 days. In 3 days, you can start doing that. My brain's like, I feel like we should just do it now. I feel like it'd be fun to just like trash it all. So that's why I have all these post-its, because I'm so stressed that I'm going to forget all of it. And even yesterday while we were at Helium, I was like, there's this joke that I used to do that I haven't done in a long time. And now I can't remember. I'm sure it'll come to me again, but
it's not one of these.
I don't think so. No.
Well, yeah, it'll come to you, or you won't need it.
I'll add the one about
put on the next special.
The new joke, the culture joke. I'll probably add because I do like it, and I feel like it fits in with like whenever I talk about parenting.
Oh, when you were talking about the DVDs that you bought, one of the DVDs you bought was "Bringing Down the House." Isn't that what it's called? Bringing Down the House. Queen Latifah, Steve Martin, Eugene Levy.
I'd never seen it,
and you just bought it because it was there at Goodwill, and you're like, heck yeah, let's. You saw Queen Latifah.
I was like, Steve Martin and Queen Latifah, and I had never seen it. Sure.
Have you ever heard of it?
No. I had no idea.
And what did you think of Bringing Down the House?
I was confused. At first, I was like, are they supposed to fall in love? Because that feels wrong. I was like, I don't like them as a couple. Not just for many reasons.
Because you're racist and you don't want to see
because I was like, it's just not. That's just not right. I mean, it was definitely of its time. It was weird. There's a lot of stuff that wouldn't fly now.
Like what?
Like all of you missed the part when I think it was Betty White. Betty White, who is the nosy neighbor, comes out and she's like, I think I heard Negro, like that's a language. And Steve Martin is like, no Negro here. Like he just says that. And I'm like, I just feel so weird.
Well, have you seen?
And he's like tackling her so she stops.
Have you seen
talking.
The Jerk? He says the N-word in The Jerk. But it works though. It makes sense within the story, but like he says it.
That's Steve Martin?
Is it? Steve Martin.
Now I have to watch that.
Now you need to watch it. He starts out the movie.
Luckily, everything that I haven't seen in the past 20 years is on DVD. So
he starts out as a poor black man.
Oh God. I don't know how you can say that this makes sense.
You can see the Jerk. It makes sense.
But it makes sense. I'm like,
because Steve Martin is a comic genius.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It works. So what did you think of the movie overall? You want to give it some stars yet, or you want to give some more review?
Let's give it some stars. 2.5.
I give it 3.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was pretty similar.
You know what? It was better than it needed to be. It was one of those movies where it was pretty much paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Everyone was a stereotype.
Yeah.
But also everyone in the movie is like really good at what they do.
Yeah, it has a good cast. That's
it has a really
that's
great
what you were
cast.
saying, that like the hat budget was more than the script budget, because it was a terrible script. It doesn't make any sense. It's The Sound of Music. It's The Nanny.
I can see that.
It's like the same plot of like dad lets random woman into his life and then they become like family.
Yeah.
Although most of the times they become a couple, and this instance it didn't happen, which I appreciate. But yeah, it's like, that's what you're saying. It's a paint by numbers. Like, it's a story that's been done and it's redundant, really. But it's a good cast, and it does feel like from there they saw him in that and they were like, Father of the Bride, that he could do that because he already played.
Is that so? That's before Father of the Bride?
I feel like Father of the Bride was after. Yeah.
I don't really know the timeline of the Father of the Bride. I feel like Father of the Bride was 90s, but maybe I'm wrong. Honestly, there were two scenes that could have been totally awful, but they weren't. I would say the fight scene was really cool. When Queen Latifah is fighting the other woman with the Taibo stuff, most movies wouldn't put that in there. They would just have like, maybe she'd like yell at her or something like that. But like there's an actual
goes nowhere. Like,
there's no real reason.
Nothing for the plot.
But it's just I don't know. They just wanted to put it in there, and they actually really did a fight scene, and they didn't have to. And
you think Queen Latifah did all her own stunts?
She has become like an action. She's in The Equalizer, which is a lot of action.
Now
so maybe I can't think. I feel like there's other movies that she's done that had like a lot of like physical stuff that she's done. But there was that. But I also think, and you may disagree with me this, but I think that the dance scene was better than it needed to be. It wasn't like it was amazing, but it was like more realistic. Like Steve Martin's. He was actually like, I don't know, in his 50s at that point. He's like really like dancing, but not like so over the top where it's like, okay, that's not him dancing. It looked like a 50-year-old man dancing, but it was like, it wasn't awful.
I don't not disagree with you. I just thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was. But in another movie, that would have been like the goofiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It just like, if it had been in another movie, it would have just been like unwatchable, because Steve Martin is Steve Martin. He like put that extra like work into it to like actually make it look like it was something that could actually happen, even though obviously it never would. All
of the lingo felt unnecessary to me. Like, that was an ongoing joke that I was like, okay, we get it. She talks different.
Yeah, well, the Queen Latifah lingo stuff, it felt, it was a little sad. I'm just like, you're Queen Latifah. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Like,
come on.
But she was already Queen Latifah at the time.
You didn't have to, like, you don't need to do this. You know, it just felt a little degrading.
Yeah.
I was just like, but I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Like, the movie tries to make a case that like, I can talk however I want to talk. It doesn't make me less or more, but that's not how it comes off.
Yeah, but the language that she's using is like, so it sounds like a white man wrote it.
Yeah, and then he's always telling her that she's not speaking English. Like at least 3 times, he's like, maybe if you learn some English, like it's just too much.
Every person was written as a stereotype. It was so weird.
So we just randomly started watching a DVD movie that I bought that day in the middle of the day.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that you said you were going to watch The Lion King.
Well, I put in the DVD and there was a lot of previews, which I forgot about previews. And a lot of them were like, The Lion King 1 and 2 just kept going forever. And I was like, I guess I'm watching this now.
Oh, you didn't. So you put it in and you didn't know?
No, I knew what movie it was, but it's just like the previews were so long. Oh. I was cooking. I was just mostly putting DVDs in to see that they worked and try to figure out like what's going on before I introduce Isabel to all the stuff I just got.
Yeah.
When she gets back, she'll get back on Monday for spring break, and I'm gonna be like, it's TV time all week. This is all we're doing.
Yeah. I think it's more of a rental than a buy. I think you're gonna regret buying it. I can't imagine watching that. Oh, you're gonna watch it?
I thought you meant the whole thing.
Yeah, the movie. I can't imagine you watching that over and over again.
I probably won't.
Okay. So, the other movie that we watched was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
That was the last movie that we watched. Came out 2022. You had never seen it. I believe it was nominated for an Oscar. I believe it was one of the, I don't remember if it won that year or not. But what do you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Everybody's been saying it's good for a year, and it finally came around to watching it.
Well, for about 4 years.
I mean, there was parts that was like, it's too much, but it's silly. It's mine.
What do you mean?
The sausage fingers were funny at first, but then I was like, okay, we don't have to keep going back to this reality.
But then they went back to the reality, and it was serious. Like it was.
Yeah, like they're in a relationship.
They're in a relationship, and it's real, and they just happen to have sausage, hot dog fingers.
And that I'm okay with, but like in between introducing hot fingers, sausage fingers, and the series, there's like 4 other ones with just like struggling just for the fun of it, and I'm like, that's the part that I'm like, I'm good on this.
Nah. Well, you're just not fun and whimsical.
Yeah, I guess.
I thought they did a really good job of blending the two realities, or the many realities, but like the actual reality that we're all living in and all the other ones. Like they did a real good job of like blending the two to where it still made sense. Like no matter what they were saying in the other reality, it still made sense in this reality. And when I rewatched it, I realized like how good a job they did at doing that.
Yeah, that sounds complicated.
Because a lot is going on in this movie, and the fact that you can tie everything together and still make it make sense, even though there's these multiple realities that don't really make sense. But somehow, when someone says something in one reality, it makes sense in the other reality, and that's
My favorite part is when she realizes how cool her life would have been if she didn't marry the guy. And she just tells him to his face. She's like, no, in this world, I don't marry you. And he's like, okay. And it's great. I'm doing amazing. I really like that because, you know, like when I did the Telltale show where I did a story about ghosts and like my interpretation of, or like the theme was ghosts, and I did a story, storytelling show. My interpretation of ghosts was like what happens when you don't make this life decision and instead you make this other life decision, and then the possibility of the original, it just like lingers over you like a ghost. That's like something I think about a lot. So like all of those like worlds were a cool way to explain that. So
great movie.
Yeah.
And you finally got to see it.
Good thing. I really think we should tell the internet right now, in March 2026, that Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's really good and you should watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it.
I'm sure you haven't. Hardly anyone has.
Well, how many stars?
5.
5? 5 stars. I give it 5.
I'm not even going to remove any stars because of the excess of...
I don't think it wasn't that excessive.
Hot dog fingers.
It wasn't that excessive.
I call them sausage finger, hot fingers, everything. but what it's actually called. You give it 5 stars too?
Yeah, I give it 5 stars. Michelle Yeoh, it's really great. It's cool to see her in anything. She's by far the most famous person in Wicked, even if people may not believe that, but she's been famous in China for decades and decades, so it's really cool.
It's interesting how that's been working. Like some people who have been famous in Mexico for a long time are now breaking through in the United States, and it's weird how like they're older people in the same as her, because that's what happens if you spend years trying to get to the point where you're like actually known. But that it's been working out that way rather than people from Mexico or like from other countries who are famous only here but not there, which could also happen, but it just hasn't.
Another thing that happened movie related is the Oscars, which we haven't watched yet.
Yeah.
But I did get around.
I watched the red carpet with Isabel.
I did get around to watching all 10 movies. I hadn't seen Sentimental Value. That's the only one I hadn't seen. So I watched it like the day after the Oscars. I think it won for Best Foreign Film. The other movie
Sentimental Value sounds like onomatopoeia, like it's just one word.
Yeah, that too. I had like a week left, so it's like I want to watch everything, and there were 2 of them that I hadn't watched, but I could only watch one of them because we were busy that week. Was the other one was The Secret Agent, which I don't believe won anything. I actually listed the 10 movies, favorites to least favorite.
Okay.
So least favorite, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Frankenstein? You liked Frankenstein, right?
I liked it, but it wasn't like amazing either. Like, I don't know that it would make.
Yeah. I think that like the Frankenstein, the scientist, his story was better than the monster. I thought the monster story would be better, but it wasn't. So like it was really uneven for me, and it kind of dragged at the end, so I didn't like it.
Yeah, they were not able to put themselves in the monster's shoes very well.
Yeah. F1, you didn't watch that. I watched that. It was...
I feel like I didn't watch F1, but it should be lower than Frankenstein. I don't know why that's higher.
Because the reason why is because...
Brad Pitt is dreamy?
Yes. Because it looks cool.
Yeah, okay.
It looks cool. It's entertaining.
Cool, but I like vintage stuff.
It gets a little, it drags. It drags. For me anyway, Frankenstein drags a lot.
For me, I'm like, how are all these aqueducts working? I would like more on that.
Yeah. F1 is always entertaining, but it's so paint by numbers. Like there's no plot. Like you know exactly what's going to happen, and whatever you think is going to happen happens.
Yeah. But that's what people what they want.
Yeah, I guess. But but it looks really cool because it's race car driving, and what they're doing like with the technology and stuff is really amazing. So
right, that's like the only reason to make a movie like that again. Like I'm sure it already exists, but it's not as good.
Yeah, it's only because you're putting the cameras on the cars and all the things that you couldn't do like 20 years ago you can do now, and it's
I'm just picturing like the old version of it is just the guy in the stands like and the new version is in the car like completely different.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the only thing.
You sure like a fly going
Sentimental Value is the next one. I thought it was good, but not great. There were parts of it's basically like the story of a guy who is a famous director, and he's really successful, and his daughter is an actress, and they're estranged because he can't communicate with her. He doesn't know how to communicate. So it's
like Kelly all over again.
Yeah, it is that, but it's better than that. And the thing that bothers me the most about it is that at the end, basically the way they communicate with each other is making a movie. I'm like, well, that's not, you need to talk to your daughter. Like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But
it's a movie.
Yeah. But like that's how they reconcile their differences. It's like they made a movie together. But I'm like, well, in real life, you need to actually talk to your daughter. Like, you didn't solve anything. Like, nothing got better. Next one up is sentimental. It's not sentimental. Secret Agent is number 7. The Secret Agent, really great movie. You don't really know what kind of movie it is until like an hour in. And then by the time you get in, you're kind of like settling. You kind of figure out like what's happening and what kind of movie it is, because you may think, because it's called The Secret Agent, you may think it's more of like a spy movie or something like that. So it's basically just a person surviving through a fascist regime and all the things that you need to do. And you don't kind of get that until like you get to the end. And it was one of the rare movies where as soon as I finished watching it, I wanted to watch it again, because I was like, okay, now I feel like I understand how to watch the movie. But I thought it was really good.
Was there Portuguese, or was it one
It was
of those,
in Portuguese.
like, I don't like it when they're like, we were in Brazil, but also we all speak English somehow.
In Portuguese. How do you feel about, and maybe I've asked you this before, but like movies that have subtitles?
I don't mind them, but because I speak both English and Spanish, it doesn't happen that much for me. So I'm a little bit lazier, I feel like.
But like, what if you're watching something in Portuguese?
Yeah, that's fine.
But like, what I mean is like, not necessarily a movie that's in a language that you don't speak and you have to read all. Like, some people are like, no, I don't want to do that. Or they don't want to watch a movie like that.
I feel like if it's German, it's close enough to English that I don't have to read all of it. Like, German is close enough to English. French, Italian, and Portuguese are pretty similar to Spanish. So like you kind of can like read and then also just kind of get like I'm not like reading.
But what if it's in
but like if it's like Korean or Mandarin or something, then I'm like, okay, this is the reason I avoided everything everywhere all at once for so long. I thought it was going to be like 2 hours of just different languages that I don't know. But if it's like Portuguese, I have less apprehension, I guess, because I'm like, it's fine.
But yeah, it was a good movie, but it's the reason why it's number 7 and not higher because the other movies that I'm talking about, I just had more fun watching them. Begonia.
But the fascist regime.
Yeah, the fascist. Yeah, that's not a fun movie to watch.
That's weird.
But there is there's a leg that jumps around in the movie.
Which movie?
In the movie I was just talking about, The Secret Agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? I guess I'll have to watch it now. There's just a disembodied leg.
Yeah, there's a disembodied leg that, just
running around.
Just hops around a little bit.
I guess hopping, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
okay.
So that's one of the plots. In the movie.
Famously fascist. Yeah, but the first thing they do is animate disembodied legs.
I think they were using it as a metaphor because they couldn't talk about what they really wanted to talk about. So in the newspaper, they actually did this, and apparently in Brazil, this has happened in the 70s. They would talk about, they would try to talk around it so they could still talk about this fascist regime that's doing things. They were like going around beating up like gay people, like at parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they talked about this disembodied leg that was also kind of associated with it. It's kind of hard to explain if you haven't seen it, but it's kind of like tangential to that story. So every time they talked about that, the people of Brazil knew what they were talking about. When you read that in the newspaper, you're like, oh, they're beating up gay people again. But the newspapers can't say that because they would crack down on it. He used that to kind of like talk about that.
Did The Secret Agent win any Oscars?
I don't think it won anything, believe.
Well,
like it got nominated for a few things. I don't think it did.
It's like the perfect time to put out that movie.
Yeah. Begonia, I liked it. I don't think it's their best movie together, but it is good. I thought it was cool. Number 5, Marty Supreme. We already talked about that.
Should be lower.
Lower?
Yeah.
Wow. You liked it more than I did.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm talking about of the 10 movies, so maybe.
I guess somebody's gotta be 5.
Yeah. Marty Supreme, I liked the whole movie. It's just the ending I felt was just, they were trying to trick me into thinking that something was happening that wasn't happening. But the actual ending, like within the world of the movie, I actually do think was I thought it was really good. All the children like crying and crying and crying. And then this kid is just completely silent. And he's looking at his dad like, what's wrong with you? Like, what? That baby was doing some great acting at the end. Yeah, so
best newborn.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the movie just because I think they just don't like the character of Marty Supreme. Like they just found him a little too much, so they didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the reason why people are kind of turning on Timothy
Chalamet,
because when he was doing all that year, we didn't realize that he was just being Marty.
Yeah.
He was doing like that's the reason why he was acting that way is because he was Marty. He hasn't, like the years before, he didn't do any stuff like that. Yeah. And since then, he hasn't done that.
He hasn't?
No.
I thought he just...
Well, the opera thing, I guess.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, there is the opera thing.
He just said something about he doesn't want to be in ballet or opera or theater or any like dying industry.
So, I don't know.
I mean, he's not wrong, but also like don't say shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think dying is the right word. Like, it's not making as much money as Fast and Furious or whatever. Like something that's just more critically, not critically acclaimed, but just has more. What's the word?
More people, more popular appeal.
Yeah, it's more popular. It makes more money, but like it's not dying. Like ballet, classical music, they've existed for hundreds of years and they will continue to exist.
Yeah.
But you have a hard time making money at that. Like I like to listen to the classical radio station and they're always asking for money like, the whole time. They'll play a song and they'll be like, okay, our fundraiser continues. to keep us afloat.
Well, maybe they only do that once a year, and you just happen to be.
I think it is like the fundraiser was like this week.
Yeah. Some people are counting Timothy out, but I'm like, I mean, he'll be fine. I think I don't think there's. What do you think? Think he'll be all right? You think?
I don't know.
Because Dune 3 is coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah, he's in it.
Boy, is he.
Boy. And that's a totally different kind of movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's very annoying, but he's also a man. He could probably just pivot. I don't know.
But was he, before Marty Supreme, people loved him.
Yeah?
People loved him.
I mean, but for what?
For all of the movies that he's been acting in.
For Dune, for like lower movies like that.
Yeah.
And then
Dune is not a small movie.
It's not a small movie, but it's not like a really artistic role.
Yeah.
Like it's Marvel.
Call Me By. No.
No, it's Star Wars universe.
No.
It's not?
No.
It's just its own thing?
Yeah, it's its own thing. I mean, it's a movie. It's based on a book.
Dune feels like it's part of a Marvel or Star Wars universe.
Dune's based on a book, but it's not. It has nothing to do with that. Actually, I believe it predates Star Wars. I believe.
And then he came out and he won an award, and immediately everybody was like, "He's being a little douchey there."
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Next one is number 4, Train Dreams. I saw this. This is a Netflix movie, but I got to see it in the theater, which I think maybe
that's the one
why I liked it so much, because I do think it is like this really big, beautiful movie. It's also it's
beautiful bill,
big, beautiful, like a bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quiet movie, but it's also like really it's an outdoor. It's filmed in the Pacific Northwest, so it's like outside with trees, and it's a really beautiful movie. I didn't cry, but I could definitely see people weeping.
Well, I wasn't there, so I can't.
So it was. I don't know. I just think it's a beautiful movie. Speaking of crying in a theater, Hamnet is the next one.
Yep. Is that one?
Hamnet is 3.
Oh.
Some people said it was kind of slow in the middle, but like the Shakespeare scenes from the end on, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's number 3. Number 2, a little controversial, Sinners.
Why is that controversial?
Because it's not number 1.
Oh, okay.
It's a bummer that it is a vampire movie, but the vampires were probably the least interesting thing about it.
Why is that a bummer?
Because it's a vampire movie. The vampires should be the most interesting thing. You would think so.
Yeah.
But if it had just been a movie about the twins, I would have loved it just as much.
Yeah.
The story kind of breaks down as soon as the vampires get into the barn, once they get into a fight, because there's 100 vampires outside with superhuman strength, and there's 5 people inside, and how is that even a fight? When the head vampire dies, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, I was kind of like, well, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. And then at the end, when they're back like decades later and they're talking to Preacher Boy and all this stuff, and that kind of sold it for me. I was like, okay, well, I love this movie again. Anything to say about Sinners?
Yeah, I like that, and that second ending too, where they're all just existing in the world, and I think it's I think the second ending is commentary on the trauma of Black people in America, because it's now we just all live here. Yeah. It's and you just keep on tracking. Bunch of people died, and the few, the guy, the singer, and the guy that's in the band, and he's just an old man in a bar. What? Yeah. He has a lot of stories, and it was traumatic, and it was crazy, and the love of his life dies and everything. He's but I'm an artist now.
Yeah. And then my number 1, which actually did win the Best Picture, was One Battle After Another.
Well, that's your opinion, man.
That's a different movie.
Is it though? There's my robes hanging right there. I can put it on.
You're gonna go put on your robe.
Like this.
Those first scenes with Perfidia.
Yeah.
That first maybe 30 minutes maybe 45. Like just those
They're
scenes.
trying to establish how much of a badass she is.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to watch. But when I sit back and I think about, okay, what would I take out? What would I change? What would I make different? The movie doesn't fit the same way. If she's different in any other way, I can't figure out how to make the rest of the movie make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the biggest complaint mostly comes from Black women who are feeling like she didn't get, you never really figure out like why she's doing what she's doing. You never find her inner life. You don't find out more about why she's making the decisions that she's making. And she's a very complicated, polarizing person. And you don't find out, like you don't get any more information from her. And a lot of people are upset.
Yeah, when they first have the baby and they're living at home with some of her family, it seems like it's her mom and grandma or sister or something. I don't remember. Yeah. It was like two other women that are family. That's when you think like, oh, more information about her is about to transpire, but not a lot. Yeah. They're just like, that's just how she is, man.
Yeah. I get it. I completely agree. But at the same time, like I don't know how, if you write it another way, then it just becomes her movie, and it's not her movie. It's about basically like white fragility is what the movie is about. Like it's
That's
about.
What I was going to ask you. What do you think the main theme?
I think the main theme is that it's just like this white guy who he has the luxury of being able to sit on his couch and smoke weed for all these years and not really be a part of the revolution, while everyone else around him is like living and dying for this. And he has the ability to, and I believe this is Paul Thomas Anderson, the director and writer. This is how he feels like he feels like he has luxury to be able to do this. So I feel like that he's telling his story. And I just think that's what the movie is about. And if it had focused more on her or told more information, it wouldn't be the same movie.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of hard to watch because when you watch the like once that is ending and the rest of it go, I think it's damn near perfect from then on. So it's kind of hard to watch like an hour and a half of you throw away a movie because you don't like the very first part, but like the rest of the hour and a half is damn near perfect. And I don't know. I feel conflicted about it, but I have to be honest. It is my favorite film, and I do think it's a great film.
But so you're saying that the main character is the white fragility he's the vehicle to explain white fragility, but he's also the movie wants you to be on his side.
I don't know. I don't know if it's asking you to pick a side. I never felt that way. Like I was supposed to.
Most of the time it follows him.
Yeah, it follows him.
It really seems like it wants you to see things from his perspective. And he, at the end, gets his daughter back, which is like the highest form of like, okay, you get what you want.
Yeah, but it's also, I feel like, maybe he's the narrator, but he's also the unreliable narrator because you're seeing how he's seeing. Like one of my favorite scenes is when he's with Benicio del Toro and he's walking through the house. That's one of my favorite scenes. It's like he's trying to get a charger. Like that's his main thing. I need to get a charger so I can call my daughter or whatever. But like he's introduced Benicio del Toro's character. He's introducing him to all these people. Like this is this person, this is this person. And when I'm watching it, I'm like, this guy, he doesn't know what's important. He doesn't know what he's stepping into. He doesn't understand what this world is. What he wants is just so small, so minuscule when all this other thing is going on. And that's how I perceived it. Like, yes, he is the main character, but he's an unreliable main character. Like, I don't think, like, when I saw it, anyway, when I see it, I don't feel like necessarily sympathy for him or anything like that. Maybe some people do, and I don't think that's the correct way to look at it. But when I look at it, I see it as a guy who is lost and he doesn't really understand but he's trying to navigate all of this the best he can with what he knows, and which is not much.
People complain that we don't know enough about the motivations of the mom, Perfilia, her character. I mean, at least we know what she wants. From the beginning, we see that he's kind of like the little errand boy for the movement. And we don't know like what else is going on with him in his life. Like, how did he end up here? And for some reason, he's in this, but you can tell it's not that important to him by the fact that he like drops it as soon as he needs to because he has a kid, which like fair reasoning. But also the kid also is another thing that just got dropped into his lap. And so he was like, I guess I'm parenting now, which like somewhat admirable because he could have just not done that. But he's just like fixing the problem in front of him as he goes. And that's like the entire one battle after another. It's like him being like, now this is a problem. Now this is a problem. Like as it comes up, but no actual like vision for more than that. Like he gets his daughter back and then what? Like he just goes back to being in the bunker of his house or whatever. Like he doesn't really have any goals. Whereas like for her, at least you're like, she really likes to be part of the movement. She really is like, this is her identity, and it really fucks with her to have motherhood stand in her way of being able to just like do whatever the fuck she wants to do. And maybe it's not for like the right reasons. She just likes bombing and being in the middle of like the war zone that they created. Like it's not real, but the movement needs those kinds of people because pacifists are not going to make anything happen. So it's like you kind of understand a little bit more. I think you understand more about her than you do about him. And I don't know if it's like that we're on his side, but at the end of the day, all of this like people of color come to his rescue. So we are kind of like supposed to, like you're saying, like you bring him into this building full of like people who are in hiding, and he's putting all the people in danger now. And the sensei is doing it too, but that's because he wants to help everybody. Like his motivation is just like to help everybody. I don't know. There's like different ways to look at it again, I guess. And I thought when you said white fragility, I thought you were going to talk about the actual biological dad, which that's like the obvious white fragility. That's
that doesn't even need to be said.
It was very clear.
And Sean Penn, I think he won supporting actor for that, I believe.
I saw that he didn't go to any of the awards because he's in
he did
Ukraine in the war zone.
But he didn't go to the Oscars, but he went to the other ones that he was nominated for, like all the other award shows.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't go to the Oscars for it.
Maybe they meant a different season, not this.
Yeah, maybe. That's my number one.
Yeah.
There was one other movie this year that I think should have been, like you could take out F1 and put in Weapons. I think Weapons, if a race car movie can be nominated, I feel like a horror movie could be nominated.
Yeah, it was Weapons.
So I feel like Weapons wasn't nominated. It wasn't nominated for Best Picture. I don't know if it was nominated for anything.
K-pop Demon Hunters won Best Animated.
Yep.
So that concludes the endless cycle of K-pop Demon Hunters. I hope. Can we be done with this?
No, there'll be probably so you're over K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh my God!
How many times have you seen it?
At least 10.
Yeah. I like that it won. I think it's a good movie. Yeah. Genuinely a good movie.
It is a good movie.
But if you've had to watch it a dozen times, then yeah, absolutely.
And like I get it. At school, they're always playing the music and just like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Next Halloween, I think it's still going to be the most used costume.
I feel like it's one of those movies, like even if I didn't have a kid, I would still watch it.
I mean, everybody was talking about it, so you wouldn't want to feel left out, so you would watch it.
Yeah. My name is Lee H. Tillman.
I'm Andrea Menchaca.
Thank you for listening to and watching Anxiety Twins. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.